Welcome to part 3 of The Truth Must Be Told continues. Moving right on along. Trying to get all this in before anybody decides to remove the information before I get it. Trying to get it. The truth must be told. Must be shared. These things must be stopped. You must stop trusting blindly man above God.
Thank you so much. I would like to give the floor now to my colleague Ivan Sinčić from Croatia.
Thank you very much. So basically yesterday there was another session of COVID committee. Just like most of the sessions before, we couldn't get much answers. We had really good questions, but the other side, in this session, the representative of Pfizer and others couldn't provide us with any real answers. They were mostly doing their positive PR campaign. They're using the committee to promote their products that are going to come, the next products, the next generation of products for Omicron now and things like that. So it is a major disgrace that the CEO of Pfizer, Mr. Albert Bourla, failed to present himself before our committee, and it is even bigger disgrace that he has no real intention of appearing ever. Apparently, he only cares about the citizens' money and not about transparency and basically answering some...
He only cares about the citizens' money. Money, the Bible says, is the root of all evil. How much is your life worth to you? Not enough to do your research, apparently. Not enough to be patient, and in your patience possess ye your soul. There's some more things I'm going to get back into that Luke 10:18 about Lucifer fallen. I have some very valid points I need to point out about that, but I want to continue in this first. So, I'm just putting this little pre-note in here to let you know there is word coming besides what I just speak. We are going to get into the word because the word is a mainstay. This is where you should have been going for your answers instead of to man in the first place. That's where I went after all.
Questions about his products and conducting of his company, so and so. So I will suggest to the Secretariat that invites our guests, the ones that we speak with, that he should be invited using a text message and not an email next time. Perhaps he will appear in that way. I come from Croatia, as my colleague Mr. Tehes said, and in Croatia we know how Pfizer does things. I will remind you of a huge scandal exactly 10 years ago when Pfizer was penalized for bribing Croatian doctors responsible for registration of medicines and for bribing doctors in Bioethics Commission in Croatia who were evaluating clinical trials.
Wow.
And in the end, Pfizer had to pay $60 million just for that.
Wow.
And of course, if we look at the company history, we will see a lot of lawsuits and...
Okay, I have a question, just to run by the leaders. What about those of us that had rights that did not do this, but our rights were infringed upon, and we were kicked out of places because we hadn't done that? What about that?
A lot of fines being paid. For example, a few years before this case in Croatia, which was not limited just to Croatia, it was also in Bulgaria and some other countries. A few years before that, Pfizer had to pay $2.3 billion for false advertising. Wow. So when you have a company like that, using text messages to communicate with the head of the commission, then a concerned citizen must ask himself or herself, what's happening here? Is this a conflict of interest? Of course it is. And the conflict of interest is the first step towards corruption. So basically, we were discussing this text messages scandal some time ago, and we called upon President of the Commission Ursula von der Leyen to resign, and I will repeat my demand for her to resign, because this cannot be accepted in a democratic society. I'm also pleased that yesterday on our committee session, some attention was given on the very good assessment of 500 independent Canadian medical doctors and scientists who were proving how Pfizer manipulated their initial study from December 2020, which they used to get an approval. So they requested me to send it to them. I will gladly send it to them, and I hope they will not be dodging the answers anymore. After all of this is over, I'm not sure Pfizer will be the biggest company, pharmaceutical company, but it will certainly remain a champion in escaping from answers to the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, my colleague, Christine Anderson from Germany.
Yes, hello. Good morning from me too. So, yesterday's session of COVID committee showed yet again that EU Parliament is nothing but a gigantic show of democracy illusion to fool the peoples of Europe into thinking their interests were represented in Parliament. It is not, though. Not only do the invited panelists, such as representatives of pharmaceutical companies or ministers of health from the member states, not answer any of our questions. No, they continue to spread disinformation about the safety and efficacy of mRNA injections. They continue to lie about and downplay, outright deny the harmful effects of these injections. They continue to keep to deny the people access to the contracts, and they continue to let Ursula von der Leyen get away with not disclosing the texts exchanged between her and Pfizer CEO Mr. Bourla. In short, they continue to demonstrate their utter contempt for the peoples of EU. The chair of COVID committee, Ms. Kathleen van Bremt, Social Democrat in Belgium, does not run this committee to serve the people. She runs this committee to protect the interests of pharmaceutical companies, EU Commission, and governments of EU at the expense of the people. Yesterday, Mrs. van Bremt refused to put a point of order to a vote. This is a gross violation of the rules of procedure and demonstrates her disregard for democracy and the rights of the people. You might want to drop her a couple of lines to let her know that you will not tolerate your rights being violated by her or anyone else for that matter. I had raised this point of order to declare the committee incompetent to serve the best interest of the people and to expose their scheme for lack of authority to compel anyone to appear in front of committee and to answer any questions, thus opening a way to have a formal committee of inquiry set up. A formal committee of inquiry would give the people the means to get to the bottom of things and would put an end to their plot of stripping the people of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. All of us here today, and many more, there is more MEPs by now, we will continue to fight for a committee of inquiry. But we need you to join us in this fight. We need your help to do it.
Now, I'm going to say it is my hope that other countries will follow Germany's example and hold these people accountable for the lies that they have told. And that they will continue to reveal the truth from nation to nation. This is my hope. I refer you back to Revelations 18:23. And I'm going there now. Revelations 18:23. And I'm going to read it. Just showing that, yes, I actually have it here. Revelations 18:23. You can always check it. I recommend, in fact, that you get in your word and you always check it. Sometimes I may misspeak something. That is not because I am a false prophet. It's because I just misspeak. It is not to twist the word. It is not to trick you. It is not to fool you in any way, because I want you in heaven with me. I have no need to lie to you. My desire is to go to heaven. And if I lie to you, I cannot make it there. But my other desire is to have you in heaven with me. And I can't accomplish either if I lie to you. Or if I lie to any. Because that makes Satan my father, who lieth from the beginning. And we see that these people have lied from the beginning of this incident. Now I'm going to read this. Revelations 18:23. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. By sorceries, which, if you translate it out, is pharmakia. I have showed you that already in the other parts. Now, I'm going to try to see how much more information is on here and see where I continue from here. All right, I'm going to go back into this for just a brief second. I would hope that other nations will join her in this fight.
The means to get to the bottom of things and would put an end to their plot of stripping the people of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. All of us here today, and many more, there is more MEPs by now, we will continue to fight for a committee of inquiry. But we need you to join us in this fight. We need your help to do it.
I'll see you in part 4.